Right, so let's start formatting this. Let me bring up the guide again real quick. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an 8-bar intro, 16-bar verses, 8-bar chorus, 16-bar verse, 8-bar chorus. Do a breakdown for 8 bars, and then we're going to do chorus probably just one more time. I put ×2, but I think at this tempo, since it's a slower tempo at 85, I think we're just going to do one more chorus at the end to keep it around the 3 to 3:30 minute mark. All right, so let's bring back up our DAW. So what you can do is, as far as bars, so make sure your magnet over here is set to bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So a light gray plus a dark gray equals 8 bars. We want to have an 8-bar intro. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste all of this across, and you can just do Control A, Control C, Control V, and there we go. Actually, that's not lining up. One second. Let's do this. So there we go. So we're going to do Control A, Control C, Control V. I don't know why it's popping up over in the middle here, but there we go. That transition should be okay. Hold on. One sec. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Let's move this. We're going to move this marker all the way to the end. We're going to do the same thing. Control A, Control C, Control V. Then drag over what we just pasted over to there. This takes us to, and you can kind of keep an eye on the minute mark. This takes us to, hold on, where is the end of this thing? There we go. Okay. This takes us to about the 1:27 as far as how many minutes it is. So we're going to do one more. Control A, Control C, Control V. And we're going to drag it over. And that's about 3 minutes, right? So now we're going to divide this up into sections following the guide. There we go. All right, so, and the way that we do that is our first 8 bars are going to be an intro according to the guide. Now, this is just what I suggest if you're just starting off as a producer, just a good format to follow that most songs follow. There are other formats you can use. By all means, use your creativity, but this is the basic steps for it. So you move this little marker all the way to the left, and we're going to do Alt-T. And that puts a little marker in there, and we're going to call the first part intro. There we go. The intro is going to be 8 bars, so if you remember, a light gray and a dark gray equals 8 bars. So right here at the measure 9 mark right here, we're going to call this verse 1. So we're doing Alt-T, verse 1. Verses are going to be a little bit longer, so we're going to do 2 sets of light gray, dark grays. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 16 bars. So right at this point is where we're going to start our chorus. So Alt-T, chorus. Okay. That's going to be 8 bars. So here's 8 bars here. So right at this point is where we're going to start verse 2. Oh, oops. I guess you could right-click and add marker as well. Right-click, add marker. Let's do that. There's another way to do it. You can right-click and just do add marker. We'll call this verse 2. Okay, that's going to go for 16 bars. So 2 sets of light and dark grays. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right here at this point is where our, and I'm just right-clicking add marker. This is where our next chorus is going to be, which is only going to be 8 bars, and then we're going to right-click, add marker. We're going to do a breakdown section for 8 bars, and then right here, after 8 bars, we're going to add marker. We're going to do our last chorus. Let's see how far that takes us. If that takes us, chorus 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 2 choruses, it looks like. Oh no, 1 chorus, 1 chorus. Breakdown. Alright, cool. And then the rest we can get rid of. So I'm just highlighting the rest. And we're gonna hit, I just highlighted all, I'm hitting the delete key. So there we go. Let's back away for a second. So I'm gonna go back and use the select key here, the draw tool. Try to, sometimes it's hard to see. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna pull this out. Okay, so here we go. We've got it formatted. So we have our intro, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, breakdown, chorus. Pretty simple, pretty easy to lay out. Now what we're going to do is start removing elements. For the intro, maybe we just want the keys. You know, let's solo the keys and hear what they sound like. Sounds pretty terrible, actually. I don't think that's going to work. Maybe we would do, let's do just the guitar. But let's do it, you know, with like kind of vintage style, you know, filtered out with maybe a record scratch or something like that under it, or a tape effect. So what we're going to do is, if you ever need to, you know, manipulate a sample, we're going to, well, actually, let's do it this way. We're going to learn a little bit of automation. So, no, let's do it another way. Let's go to, if you click this little left corner of any sample, it brings up a menu. And what we're going to do is duplicate this sample. So I think it's called clone. Where is clone? Clone, clone, clone. Sorry, I'm a little blind here. Make unique as sample. Let's do that. So we're going to make unique as sample. Oh, man, come on. There we go. All right. And I'm going to call this intro sample. Actually, you know what? Let's do it a different way. I'm going to go with plan A. So the first thing we want to do is tie this track to a mixer channel. If you double click it, you can see that it's going to 1. But I want to go ahead and name it and tie it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on the channel, go to track mode, audio track, insert 1. So this ties it to that mixer channel. I'm going to rename it guitar sample. There we go. Now if we go to the mixer, we can see it's called guitar sample and it's right here. Now I'm going to add an effect. And I'm going to include this in the guide and show you where to download this effect for free. It's called Cymatics Origin. There we go. And the way that I brought that plugin menu up, I realized I didn't explain how to do that, is if you click this little caret right here, and you go to more plugins right there, it brings up the entire menu, and then you can just search by using this search bar at the bottom. All right, but let's look at the origin sound here and hear what it sounds like. You can hear it has that little bit of movement, that tape effect, some saturation, some, and then it's filtering out some of the high frequencies. Turn up the reel to reel there. I'm going to turn down the frequencies. Turn up the movement a little bit. Alright, cool. We got a good lo-fi effect going on. Now, if I were to leave this on, it would play throughout the entire track, but we don't want to do that. We need to do something called automation, where we're like, hey, apply this Cymatics Origin effect at the beginning, and then once it's done, cut it all the way out so we have a clean guitar. So the way you can do that is you're going to right click on this little button beside the effect on the mixer channel, and we're going to create automation clip. There we go. And if we go to our playlist, we can see the automation clip right here. So we want the effect to be all the way up. Oh, and all I'm doing is right clicking, adding some edit points here. And then once the track is all the way in, we want to take it all the way out. And I'm going to add one more point right here and put that all the way there. And I'm just going to use this cut tool right here. It looks like a little X-Acto knife. And I'm going to cut right there. And I'm going to click the draw tool, and I'm going to right click over here. So this is saying adding the origins tool to the beginning. But as you can hear, it's clear there. So all right, cool. So we have an intro.